Hello, everybody. This is us. You're on screen, Paul. This is Paul Boyer with Stardock. He is the lead designer on Galactic Civilizations 3. Most of you have been here so often you know him and all of his personal details by heart. My name is Kristen Hatcher. I also work for Stardock, and Paul is my husband. And so if I sound like I'm mad at him about something, it's probably because he didn't do the dishes or something like that. And sitting next to me is Christine. And say hello, Christine. Hello. And everybody be nice to Christine. We want to keep her around. She is going to be helping out. Our own Adam B is out for a whole month. So he is moving and to Minnesota, which is where he's from, and all of his family is there. So Christine and I are going to be taking turns doing the Twitch stream. So I'm hoping that Twitch cooperates with us enough to let us at least get through the introductions and stuff like that. We had just started talking about version 1.2, and I don't know if anybody actually heard any of the things that we were saying, but one of the things we were talking about was some of the fixes that went in. You were saying people were playing games with a large number of opponents?
Sure.
No, you weren't saying that?
That's not what I was saying.
No. Tell me what you were saying,
well, actually,
then.
what we were talking about was things that are in 1.1.
Okay.
1.2. Essentially, we have a bunch of fixes. We had a bunch of crashes. We had multiplayer issues that have been resolved. The thing I said about the lots of opponents is that now we're getting requests for being able to play more people.
I see. More than 100 people?
No, more multiplayer.
Oh, I see. I gotcha. Oh, I gotcha.
And that's primarily so the game doesn't crawl to a halt. Anyway, so one of the things I was showing really quick was that we've added mega events in 1.1. Now, mega events sometimes are super mega and sometimes are actually less intense, but all the time they give you choices as opposed to a regular event. And then they will do things that can really throw off the balance of the game. So if you don't like that, you can actually turn them off. Mm-hmm. If you do like that, you can set them to abundant. I'm going to set them to abundant in the hopes that we get a couple while we're testing here.
Now, a mega event is an event that affects all of the races that you're playing in the galaxy, and that will really shake up the game. So, it's something that affects everybody, and you have to react to it.
Yes,
you have to make strategic decisions.
Yeah, some of them are like really extreme, and some of them are just like, oh, that's neat. And we're going to keep adding them, actually. So they'll be, we'll probably add, 5 or 6 events per patch, and as long as we're going out. And then we have a couple big ones, the types of ones that some people really don't like, where they're really game changing. That'll be DLC for people who do like those. Mm-hmm. So those are fun, and they're more extreme. They come with like the Dreadlords and the Peacekeepers and things like that.
Okay.
All right. So the other thing we were talking about before we got lost is that you can now print ships.
Yes, that's part of the patch. So that's free. It's not like it's part of the DLC.
Mostly we're going to try and talk about the patch. So I'm going to go into this ship here. And okay, let's do this one just for fun. Okay, so here's a little scout, a Thalian scout. I could design it myself. As a matter of fact, let's do that. Let's new design. Let's grab this and make these things bigger. All right, and then I'll maybe make them. I don't need to make them flap. Anyway, so I made these things bigger. Mm-hmm. Now I can save this design.
It's beautiful.
It's prototype IMO. I'm going to grab my prototype IMO. I'm going to say export. And now you can just export it into your local folder. This is great if you have your own 3D printer. Mm-hmm. You could already do that. Because
I'm sure everybody listening has their own 3D printer. Who doesn't?
More people than you would expect. Okay.
Okay.
So you now can upload it to print it. We've made a partnership with Sculptio. So you can actually go here and say, upload to print, give it a description, do all your stuff. I'm not actually going to order, so I'm just going to do this as a test. It will then export it, zip it up, and upload it to Sculptio's server, and you will see in a second here, the Sculptio webpage will show up. Boom. And there's my ship.
Or there will be your ship. There's your ship.
There's my ship. And then you can actually go through here. Now, these are about, this is in millimeters and my brain doesn't translate.
No, I don't do that.
But
either.
it's essentially around 3 inches, I think, is the default size. So it's $11 if you print it in regular plastic. If you print it in resin, which is a little nicer, it is $30. Aluminide, I'm not quite sure what Alumide.
I think it's
It's
just
a matte
silver
gray, strong,
coloring.
slightly flexible material.
Oh, I thought it was just
Stands the
coloring.
pressure when it's being bet. A mix of plastic and aluminum powder.
Well, there we go.
Surface is grainy, sandy, and slightly porous. Anyway, so you can and you can actually preview the ship here. Now, a lot of times it will actually say there are things that are too small on here, and but sometimes it's not really a big deal. You'll get a warning. Often it's like the little tips of weapons and stuff.
Yeah.
So
they're a little fragile. And
we
may not
can't guarantee your
print
quality
well.
or anything, but I will say that it's a little over cautious, and that's mostly because they don't want to be. You broke our thing.
Right, exactly. You order something, even if
Yeah.
you're only paying $10, $11, $12 for it, you don't want it to arrive broken.
Yeah, so you can even go down and now here's where it gets expensive. So what is this? This is when we did Alumide.
Alumide, yeah.
It's $12. If
Yep.
you do it in plastic, it's $11. If you do it in metal,
If you did it in resin, it was $30.
if you do it in metal, it's $416.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. I think it's because it uses.
I'll take a 6-pack of those.
Yeah, it uses a different printing technology.
Right.
And then, but
Well,
you can even
and
go
more
down and say,
expensive
I
materials.
want metal. I guess
Can I print it in solid
silver.
gold? Because that's
there
how I
is
roll.
gold-plated option, but I haven't quite been able to figure out how to get it to let me print gold-plated. I see gold combined options don't work, so there's something about the way I have it optimized where I can't get gold plate. Pink gold. Isn't that rose gold?
I would think it's rose gold. Yeah.
Anyway, so now you can print your ships. So it's the plastic ones, and even the resin is really nice. It's a little bit like to the touch, a little grainy, but it's much more solid, and you get a more accurate thing. So $30. Now I could let's say I'm gonna go crazy and do 6 inches, or actually I have to switch to inches. 6 inches by 4 inches. I don't know if it'll actually.
Does it scale for you?
Oh, it looks like it does.
That's good.
So let's see.
17 inches is pretty big.
Okay, so 6 inches. $175. So they get more expensive the bigger you get.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So now you can, and the great thing about this though is you can for our hardcore ship designers, any ship you design, you can print.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I did some experiments where I actually made a ship part that was a stand, like a little stand, and then you attach that as a ship part to the bottom of the ship, and then you have a little, like a Starfleet battles ship. So
Nice.
I'm really excited about this.
You're a nerd.
I wish the metal was cheaper.
Yeah. Well.
Anyway, so I'm gonna get out of there. So that is now in, and
that's a free upgrade for
and
anybody who wants
that's
to
part
do
of the
it.
free thing.
Now that is through Sculptio.
Yeah.
So we don't.
Yeah, we kind of wash
do-
our hands of it
right.
once it gets to them.
Yeah.
But that's the way Warcraft or any of these places that do that type of thing work.
Got people
All right,
on
yeah,
the
questions.
channel actually seem to think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I do have one question from Zapgun for Hire, who is asking, are there any plans to scale the number of trade licenses to the number of planets, as having a dozen or so trade licenses on large maps is a little limiting?
This is somebody who plays the game a lot. Who's
Yes.
that problem.
Yes, it is. I've never gotten more than a couple trades.
We are adding, and I wanted to get it in 1.2, but I didn't get to. In 1.3, we're going to be adding a... Heck, put something funny on the chat again.
I think the Twitch is just getting caught up with some of the jokes I made earlier.
Oh, that's scary. Okay, so what was I saying?
You were trade licenses.
Oh, trade license. We're actually in 1.3. We're going to add a overall system to modify anything in the game by habitable planet count. So we can actually do all kinds of stuff like that. So yes, we can do that, but it won't be right away.
Okay, thank you. 00Zim00, I said that, asked, in regards to the Steam Workshop and mods, will there be an option to add image packs, which include a set of background and foreground and icons, etc., without actually having to make a faction for every one, so that people can just make their own with the collection you upload to the workshop?
We are going to, in 1.4 probably, I want to do it in 1.3, but it's probably going to be 1.4, we're going to add full mod support. So you should, in theory, just be able to zip them all up, put them in the right folder, zip them all up, and call it a mod, and people will be able to grab just the images.
Okay. All right. Turi ID, repeating somebody else's, Nasalus's question, sorry if I'm butchering your names, asked, when can we expect support for gameplay mods on Steam?
Well,
this is huge for us modders.
That is the question that I just preemptively answered.
Yeah.
And the answer is 1.3 or 1.4, depending on
So you're not
manpower.
really sure yet.
Well,
You didn't answer the
1.4,
question.
so either next update or the one after that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and mostly just because it's not the actual support of the mods. We're ready for that. We need to create a system that lets you track them and uninstall them. And that's the part that requires a little work. And we honestly want to spend a little more time working on gameplay and getting the gameplay a little more fun, fixing some micromanagement issues, and we kind of consider that a little higher priority at the moment.
What? That's higher priority than mods?
Well, just barely.
Just barely.
Here, I wanted to show something here, unless all the planets are gone. One of the things we also did, this is a little more cosmetic. Oh, I think all the planets might be gone.
Gone?
I might have to start a new game with more planets. Yeah, they're all taken.
Colonized.
Yeah, here,
Yeah.
let me
So while we're waiting, let me see if I have got some questions here. Gambit 1077 asked, is an update that will allow players to distinguish between ultra terraformable tiles prior to researching the tech in the works? So is that something that's...
Oh, no, but what I'm probably going to do is... ultra terraformable. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is a person who plays a lot also.
Yeah, the problem with that is that the way that works is actually based on the map, and the map generates separately. So we would have, I don't even know how we would preview it efficiently. So essentially what he's saying is, I don't want to research this, then find out that there's
no tiles available.
No tiles available.
And I have had that happen to me before,
well,
too.
but not with the ultra terraformer. That's
every tile basically becomes.
That's pretty beefy. What we might do is make it so that you always get at least one, and just force it, have it drop its requirements until you get one, and that way the person never feels screwed.
Right.
Okay, so here's a really quick thing. Now you can see that all habitable planets now have a fancier little halo.
Nice.
And that makes them stand out a little more. And then more so than that, we also went through and set up all the art defs. We made it so they can show up by, everything is generated by class and trait. So now when you find a planet, like this is a class 11. Oh, this one is shielded, so it already had an art def. But you'll see that, so this is barely habitable. It will look barely habitable. And,
okay.
And if you find a good one, let's find a good one here. I guess I should have done that crazy. Oh, here's a good one.
Oh, what we got there.
You'll go here.
Yeah.
And you'll see that it'll be a very nice...
Class 25.
Class 25.
Holy moly.
Oh, wait, this is bountiful. So that one's still already... But like I said, here's a 13 breadbasket.
Yeah.
You'll start seeing like bigger planets will be like the really nice ones will have rings and have like purple hues, and so you get some really neat stuff. And also like the crappy planets now look crappy. Is honestly, in a weird way, that was the most important part of this fix. It's really where it's like, oh, hey, look, a big blue planet, and it's like, oh, it's class 4 or class 6. Yeah. So that was a little polish point that we really wanted to do, and we finally got in. I really should have probably put the planets on a button if I wanted to demo that.
You'll learn. You do this a couple more times, you'll learn. All right, so Hamelmac asked, ships with custom parts are either black screen or very small in workshop. Any fix coming? That is, yes. Actually, that I can actually show you that right now. Awesome.
By black screen in workshop, he means that the thumbnail is crap.
Okay.
I'm assuming that's what he means. So regardless of what custom parts, now when you go to upload template for Steam. I wonder why that is. Here, let me design my own so I can save. Okay, there we go. So when I upload this now, the problem was what would happen is if you have a custom part, a lot of times the bounding box on that part is like weird, so it would cause the thumbnail to generate like tiny. So that made me very angry. But luckily we fixed this by now you'll see this preview and you can change it.
Okay.
And that will then turn this to a 3D viewer. And you can literally go, I want it to look, I mean, in this case, it actually did a pretty decent job.
Yeah.
But I can want that, and then I say done, and now that's the thumbnail.
Okay.
So this will allow players who are having that problem look weird. Now, as for adding pictures to the thing, you can actually do that on Steam separately if you want to like put up left, right, up, down. One of these days, I'd really love to have a more elaborate export image, but this is a good first step, I think.
Yeah, and Hamelmac said, in fact, that was what he meant. So hopefully he's happy with that fix.
Yeah, this should.
He says thank you.
Yes, that should fix
it.
Or
she.
Once I realized, I think it's a he. I don't know. He's got chips in the game. So once I realized that they look like that, I kind of went on a little warpath until we got that fixed.
Right, that does seem like the kind of thing that you would.
Well, the ship designer is my baby. I have to take care of it.
Yeah. All right. Creature of Existence asked, why do the main races get 1500 BC and not the custom factions?
The main races get 5000 BC.
Yeah.
And the custom factions should also get 5000 BC.
So if that's Creature of Existence, if that is not happening for you, if you have a save game, would a save game help with that, or?
Maybe.
What do you think?
My thought is, everybody should get 5,000. Maybe there's something separate he's asking about.
Okay. Well, if we're
if you can clarify that question a little more, because
the wrong question, maybe if I'm.
Well, there's actually an easy way to find out. Let's make a custom faction and see if he is right.
Okay. He had a second part of the question, or. I think it's the second part of the question. Also, why not add a trait marker to the game? It's on the forums.
A trait marker?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that means either.
I am not sure what that
Sorry.
means either.
As a matter of fact, clarify the question. Let us know, please.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to make the crappiest custom race ever. Call them the...
Jono LR asked, any update on when or if we'll be getting all the rest of the ship design contest finalists in the game?
That is a good question. There was some issues, and I think we actually did spend some time tracking down the other ships and getting them ready, and then I just haven't had time to put them in. Keep bugging me, and,
okay.
And I will get Brandon on fixing that.
All right.
Okay, so here's the crappy. The crappy have no traits, so they're going to be pretty crappy. But let's start the game as the crappy. Now, I am crappy, and I have 5,000 credits. So I'm not sure what he was seeing.
Yeah, if you're seeing something else, let us
Yeah.
know, because that's not the way it should be working.
Yeah.
Or maybe you meant something else
Yeah,
entirely.
he
I'm not
must
sure.
have meant something different.
All right. So Zapgun for Hire asked, in the diplomatic branch of most tech trees, there are 3 alliance specializations. Military alliance, technological alliance, and cultural alliance. Do they actually do anything game-wise? Do you have a pre-existing alliance for them to do anything? And do their effects show up on the tooltip anywhere?
Essentially, well, there might be an issue there. That would actually be sad if that is true. But the way it works is each of those alliances, they're like a normal alliance, but they give you bonuses based on their nature.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a technological alliance, you will also, not only will you have an alliance for your relations and everything, you will actually receive shared research points between your 2 races, etc.
Okay.
So hopefully that clarifies that a little. We might be reworking some of that stuff a little bit because it seems a little. We have some new treaties and stuff we want to put in 1.3, so some of that stuff might get a little amped up, but that is what they currently do. Okay, I seem to have broke the game because I was.
You broke it. Do you need to reboot or something?
No, I just restarted.
All right.
Sorry.
Okay.
That's what-
Larson X asked, is there an ETA on rework on Planetary Invasion?
Probably not till 1.5.
1.5?
Yeah. We well.
That's all right.
The thing is, we can kind of do a simple thing, or we could come up with a whole new system, and we're starting to lean toward coming up with a whole new system, something more fun.
Okay.
You know, if we do something that's kind of just a better version of what we have, which is what the original plan was, it's not going to make the game that much play different or anything. So we're considering like reworking it completely.
Okay. Well, you make me tired, so I'm going to have Christine jump in. And poor Paul. I'm so mean to him. And she'll ask some questions.
Delete the crappy.
Hi guys, this is Christine, or I go by Christy, whichever. And I'm still kind of new to the whole Gal Civ thing. I've been working mostly on Sorcerer King, so if I have noob questions, forgive me. They will definitely be there. So let's see.
There's like a whole committee on the other side of the table.
I know.
I feel like I'm on trial.
Somebody named Jacob asks if Gal Civ 5 will have galaxy-sized maps.
We're having a hard enough time with immense. And we still have to get through Gal Civ 4 anyways.
Right. Kind of putting the cart before the horse, right?
Yeah. So. All right. So what other features are in this expansion? We got cut off. So much better AI defensive planets.
Mm-hmm.
They're much better AI designing ships to counter other races or the player. Just tons of bug fixes, stuff like that.
Those are always good.
Then of course there's the mega events. There's the new planets, new cosmic planets. What else? I know there's other things. There's the export. Multiplayer fixes. Yeah, I guess I can't. I don't know off the top of my head. You can share maps.
What? Oh.
Yeah, that's a whole. So now you can only share maps if you have the 1.1 DLC, but you can download maps regardless of whether you have it. So you have to have 1.1 to have the map editor.
Mm-hmm.
But if somebody has the map editor, they can make all the maps they want and share them, and then anybody can download them. So that will hopefully lead to a vast collection of maps that we can look at and see what's cool and steal from. Well, be inspired by.
Awesome. Let's see. Planetary ID was asking, he says that Brad was talking about considering switching the AI ship design system to a dynamic system. Has that been discussed with the team?
Well, the problem is that the AI ship design system is already a dynamic system. The problem is there are these blueprints. What we are doing is switching the blueprints. This has already been implemented with the best defense. Is we're going to update these blueprints to design themselves a little bit smarter based on the game circumstances. Like, what does your enemy have? So now, if you go in here, I can see all my ships will have. I don't know. It might be too early in the game. Yeah, see, this guy has point defense because right now that's the best defense to have against whoever is near is afraid. So so that's already part of essentially dynamic design of ships. The problem really is coming from the AI not knowing what types of ships to build, and that is one of the main things we're addressing next. So the AI will build more specific sets of ships and fleets for very specific purposes. If they are ready to come and invade, they'll create a fleet that's designed to invade the particular place they want to go against the particular race they're attacking. So that's all stuff that can be done with a tweaked version of the existing system, which, like I said, is already dynamic. Brad, in Calcium 2, Brad actually wrote all these very specific code that dynamically built the ships, but in a strange way, it's the same thing we're doing, but now the designer has handles to push it, one way or the other. So yes, we are working on that, but it's not so much as a complete overhaul as a enhancement.
All right. Looks like Creature of Existence has tried to clarify his earlier question for you, if you want to go back to that.
But the 15 BC?
Yes.
Okay.
He says, meant my custom faction always start with 3000 BC, but when I played the Drengen yesterday, I started with 5000 BC. Also, what I tried to say was a suggestion to add a trait maker, not trait marker. Also, the post is on the forums.
Right now, I'm assuming he means a trait like a race trait thing.
That's what it seems like.
You would have to do that as a mod. I don't even know how we could easily do that as a in-game thing. But you can certainly do it as a mod, and once full mod support is, and hopefully people will be able to share them and everything. The only reason I could think that your custom faction would only have 3,000 is either it was built a zillion years ago, back when the guys only had 3,000, or when you designed your custom race, you chose being poor, or what? There's like wealthy, and if you do the negative of wealthy, you can actually end up screwing yourself out of money. Other than that, there's no reason why you should have less than the same as everybody else. You can have more. Like I said, if you're Iridium, I think the Iridium start with like 7,000 or 8,000 because they have the wealthy trait. So, but other than that, if he wants to send us that faction, send it to me in email or submit it to us. I can tell you exactly what the starting wealth of it is, and maybe it's literally a typo or some sort of weird circumstance like that. Pirates.
I always die to pirates. I'm not good. I'm really not.
The trick is to take out the small pirates early, and then leave their star bases until you have some bigger ships, and then go take us.
Somebody told me this, you can take the pirates out of the game. I said, yeah, but if I do that, everybody will make fun of me for being bad. So
well,
I just
that
die,
is
and
not
that still
the
makes
case.
me bad.
So that's okay. Now this actually brings about a legitimate thing. There is no right way to play Galciv, which is a nightmare for me as the designer.
I bet it is.
Because if you are a very combative person and your goal is just get out there and kill everybody immediately, which is a large section of our audience, you play in a completely different way than I do, where I will go out and make friends, and I'll trade with somebody, and I'll build up a big empire, and then I'll kill the people who I don't like, or I'll kill the people who declare war on me, and I play a little more defensively. I know Kristen tends to play like, I don't know. She goes and just expands and tries to keep pretty happy, and she kind of turtles. And that's
Yes.
a legitimate way. That's why we have different influence victory. That's why we have influence victory. That's why I have tech victory. That's why I have ascension victory. These are all
Right.
different ways to play the game. And the challenge is making each of these ways fun without pissing off the people who play the other way.
Right. And it's awesome because you're able to appeal to a more wide array of audiences that way.
Well,
Right.
yeah. I mean,
Hopefully.
it's a wider niche of our niche that we're in. So.
Let's see what else we got here. Somebody, Hamelmac did comment that they just upgraded to Windows 10 and the game is running fine and actually uses less RAM. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we're so far we haven't had any problems with Windows 10. Unlike Fallout 3, which I know is a 8-year-old game, but I just installed it on my laptop because I was like, hey, I'll play a little Fallout 3. It doesn't run on Windows 10.
Oh no.
But yeah, this is we're pretty happy with Windows 10 so far. And just because I think the reason it uses less RAM is probably because Windows 10 is more efficient and it's probably creating
Right.
less virtual doodaddies. I don't want to sound like I know what I'm talking about. Less handles
Yeah,
and
no.
crap.
I'm glad I'm not
It's
the
probably
only one
better
who
at
said words.
allocating the memory out because sometimes you'll the game will say, I need this much memory. Windows 10 will go, or Windows will go, oh, he needs that much memory, but because of this and this, I'm going to give him twice that. And then you run out of memory. So, yeah, we have lots of fun with Windows.
Somebody says, yay, turtle victory. So it looks like you've got a friend, Kristen.
Hey, I love turtling. As a matter of fact, I have to be very careful not to overbalance the game towards turtlers because that's my personal style. I have to every once in a while put on my Brad hat and just go around murdering people.
Oh, so that's what Brad's like. I haven't
Well,
met
Brad is a very
yet, guys.
aggressive. Brad is a very aggressive player.
So noted.
And then Alan, who is our kind of chief AI guy, other than Brad, will play. He'll try and exploit every single thing, and that's because he knows how it works. So he'll be like, "Oh, I bet I can," which is great because that's what hardcore players do. So
Right.
we need that where it's like, "Oh, you realize if you put your slider right here and you set this project right here, you'll get 20% more than any other way." And it's like, "Oh God." How am I going? And what's funny is he does that so that he can figure out how to get the AI to do those things,
Right.
which is good. That's what you want in an AI designer.
We have an interesting lore-ish question
is
here,
this?
it seems like.
Oh, I must have downloaded this from Steam.
Well, that's fancy looking. I'm learning how to multitask, looking at everything that you guys are
It's
typing,
very
looking at the
difficult
screen.
to track the thing,
Oh my
and
gosh.
yeah,
I'm
it's
working
going
on
to take
that.
a while.
But Jono LR says, a lore-ish question. Given that Bradley's fleet was in a pocket universe, does that mean the Terran ship designs in Galciv 3 are the designs that took part in the war against the Dreadlords? Paul's looking at me like, I don't know.
The way I viewed it as the one who wrote the campaign is that while they were in the pocket universe, they discovered new technologies and they designed new ships.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not necessarily the ones that were in the Dreadlord War. They're the ones they made while recouping, and there's like a whole story of what happens while they're in the pocket universe that has not been made public. And so, but that's essentially what it is they came across a bunch of technologies which allowed them to leapfrog up, which is why the Crusader comes back and just murders everything.
Okay. And somebody wanted to pay you a compliment. It looks like Gilmoy says, nice rig, Paul. I saw your brag video. It inspired me.
Brag video?
I don't know what they're talking about.
Show us your rig.
Show us your rig.
Oh, there was no video in that, was there? Yeah.
I just know what I'm reading.
Yeah.
I'm still new. CW says the life support system still has a constant range per mass ratio. This makes researching beyond environmental support counterproductive. This is a long-standing problem. My last posting about it was on June 6th. Can Paul please take a look at that problem?
The life support has so essentially what he's saying is that the next one up is never worth more than 2 of the one below it.
I guess so.
Or something like that. Yeah, that is possible. I will look at that. We've run into that problem before. You know what? The mass miniaturization stuff really throws off those curves, and it makes it easy for something like that. It's even possible, although I bet he's looking at the XML because these guys tend to do that. So he's probably right. So I'll have to look into that. But it's possible, not necessarily in this case, for something to behave like that simply because the way you researched your miniaturization or your cost reductions. And that is really hard for me to balance, but I'm working on it.
Okay. Somebody else chimes in at the same point, so I guess that's kind of an agreed upon thing there too. And somebody asks, Larson X asks, how about ideology points on invasions?
We want to do that, but it might have to wait till we redo Invasion System. Mm-hmm. I've actually always wanted to do that, but I didn't want to do it half-assed, so it's having to wait.
You want to do it right, I get that.
Yeah.
So how long have you been working on this game that you're playing right now? This is obviously not something recent.
This game? No, this is me soaking, so it's going crazy.
I thought
Oh, gotcha.
overall, like how many years?
No, I meant this specific game, but I am curious.
No, if you soak, see, look at this. It's going 133, 134, 135. I mean, that's literally like in the normal gameplay, if you're not a pro, that's like 4 hours or 3 hours. Well, actually, it depends on the map size. Yeah, so. But when you soak, they just essentially go, and they all kill each other, and that makes for good
I haven't gotten that far
question answering.
Soaking is something just the devs do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So these guys are going to kill these guys, and I'm going to laugh at them.
Some really pretty explosions.
Yeah. Okay, so any other questions?
Let's see. Zapgun for Hire says, you have a love-hate relationship with this question, but asteroid mining in or out?
It's in, but not right away. It's going to be part of the constructor constructor shipyard asteroid mining kind of rework, which is probably going to be in 1.5.
Okay.
And it mostly because it's going to be a rather major overhaul. We need time to make sure. And then the other thing is we have to balance it all with existing scenarios and campaigns and make sure that it doesn't break things. And so that's a big one.
Okay, and it looks like I missed a couple that were scrolling down. Deathwind asks, do you have any information on when we can expect to see mods added to the workshop? Not nearly as concerned about the mod tools as the availability of uploading mods to the workshop.
Yeah, well, we had brought that up earlier. It's 1.3 or 1.4, depending on how quickly how much development time we are allowed. So It will either be in September or October.
Okay. Yeah, we already answered those questions too. Okay. Let's see.
There's a lot of transports here. Where are they going?
Oh my gosh, there's so much to look at. Snappy DLC. I don't know what that is, but somebody's asking about Snappy DLC ETA?
The Snappy DLC is in 1.3.
1.3, okay.
Yep. As a matter of fact, that is what I am working on as we speak. Well, not as we speak literally, but that is what I'm working on.
Gotcha.
And that will be a complete set of, it'll be a whole new race. The Snathy, it'll be a whole new tech tree, at least one new racial ability, and a little campaign for the Snathy to destroy the evil Terrans. So I really wanted it to be a dream sequence, but I can't get the animation budget to have a whole cutscene where they wake up on a tree and go, "Oh God, it wasn't real." I'll just draw it in I'll do it in Flash, and
that'd be great.
Everybody's very happy about it.
Yeah, I've been talking about it for like 2 years.
Yeah.
So I know people were excited about that. Now the challenge is to make sure it's fun.
And Gambit 1077 asks, could we see arenas sometime in the future which would allow players to conjure two fleets to test different fleet and ship configurations?
I actually have a whole Oh, look, I think the artifact main event must have gone off because look at all these artifacts.
It's quite a lot.
But when you're soaking, the mega event message doesn't show up. But there's one of them where it's essentially a bunch of artifacts spawn throughout the galaxy. Ooh. And then it's a big race to grab them because they're super valuable. Oh, look at this. They're gonna keep doing this little dance. Oh, no. Oh, gotcha. Anyways, so what was I saying?
Sneaky.
Snathy something?
Oh, no. Where was that? You guys moved too fast. It did.
I'm sorry. I got
somebody
distracted.
asked, could we see arenas sometime in the future?
I actually very much would like to do that. But my idea is to turn it into a little bit of a game.
Oh, okay.
And just to for the scope of it and the surprising amount of work that would go into making it balanced and fun is a little bigger than what I had hoped. So it'll probably have to be after the first expansion. So, but yeah, I do want to do something like that where you essentially set up a fleet and then you win. And if you win, you get points to add more. And essentially the techs become like your level ups and it becomes a whole game where you're just building fleets and attacking each other and boom, 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 boom. And we have a lot of work that we want to do to the battle viewer that will make it more fun. So
awesome.
It's going to be a while, but I do hope to do something like that.
And then a couple of people have asked, are there any hints on what the DLC for 1.2 will be?
Oh, have we not announced the one?
I mean, we talked a little bit, right?
Oh,
yeah, we were having
have we announced it?
broadcasting
I mean, I'm
issues.
allowed to talk about it. I don't see why not.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah. Oh, well,
we can
okay.
talk
So the
about that
DLC for 1.2 is a bunch of bigger, higher end mega events, things that come with special races and parts. So there's the Dreadlords. So essentially, the Dreadlords will spawn, and then all of these are gated by prerequisites. You can turn them off if you don't want them. And also they won't happen till after at least 100 turns or whatever. But the Dreadlords will be discovered on a colony, and you have to go kill them before they can spread. And then the gimmick to the Dreadlords is that, I mean, they have a bunch of really cool new ships. I think once the marketing stuff goes out, you guys can take a look at that. And then, of course, if you're a founder, you'll just get it. Mm-hmm. But the Dreadlord ships comes with all new Dreadlord pieces that people can make these really organic looking ships. They're actually the highest poly parts in the game. So you can make these neat, cool Dreadlord ships. But the Dreadlords will spawn, and they have a crazy bonus to their production because they're Dreadlords, and they start with all of the techs. So you have to kill them, or not all the techs, but a lot of techs and a lot of weapons. Mm-hmm. So you have to get to them and kill them. They don't colonize, but they will invade. So they essentially, you have to take them out early. And on a big map, that can be dangerous because they might spawn somewhere where you don't even know where they are. And they'll just start steamrolling over you. And if you can't get to them early enough, you would need a giant fleet to kill them. If you get to them relatively early, as a matter of fact, it's really hard to balance because I had one guy testing go, hey, I just killed the Dreadlords really easy because they spawned right in the middle of my territory. And then another person like, Dreadlords are too hard. They fly, by the time I got to them, they wiped out everything. So, but that's why it's a mega event. That's what the whole point is. Like, oh man, I'm going along. I've got this game won. Oh, Dreadlords are here. Okay. Anyway, so then there's the Peacekeepers, which essentially will show up and declare that the galaxy needs to be in peace, and they will attack anybody who is at war.
That sounds
so if you get out of a war, if you cancel a war, if you make peace, they'll leave you alone. So you can use them as kind of a lever to control the galaxy, or you can just take them out. There's only a fixed number of them. It scales with the map size. So if you have a strong enough military, you can blow them up and take them out and be free to wage war across the galaxy. But they're very fun. They'll break up the map. They'll also come in and I've had the Peacekeepers and the Dreadlords show up at the same time, and all of a sudden the Peacekeepers are taking out the Dreadlords and or the Dreadlords are taking out the Peacekeepers. Let's see, what else? There's a couple other ones. There's space monsters, which are a little bit like Dreadlords in that they are essentially feral Dreadlord ships, because the Dreadlord ships are like biological. So these space monsters will appear, and they're kind of more like pirates, but they're very powerful. They have no range limitation, and they don't like you if you bug them. So they essentially will spawn, and they'll get more and more powerful, and they'll grow, and there'll be giant adult ones that'll fly around and blow you up unless you kill them.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and then let's see what else. There's the artifact, which is one where you the weakest race in the game will receive a precursor artifact that starts building up their production 1 point per turn. So if you wait too long, they essentially become gods and they'll kill you. So there's all, most of these, like I said, you notice a theme here though. All of the mega events are meant to shake up games, particularly late game play. So that's primarily what the DLC is going to be. This one's not huge, but it is a lot of content in its own way, because there's all these new ships and all these new parts and everything. So, and it is very fun for the game.
Wrap. Okay. All right. I see that there are some other questions, but hopefully we can get to those in a future stream. I guess that we are going to wrap it up here for today, and look forward to seeing people hopefully on Wednesday for Sorcerer King, also at 3 p.m. Eastern.
Oops.
Don't forget that we also have, is it Servo on Tuesday, I think?
Servo, yeah.
Servo on Tuesdays.
And Mohawk's
And
Off-World Trading Company on Thursday.
Off-World Trading Company is on Thursday. So thank you guys very much. And Paul, thank you.
No problem.
And we will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye. That's how I turn it off. Okay.